Welcome to the H2Know Podcast, where we take you beyond the headlines and into the heart of Hamilton Community Schools. From classroom innovation and career pathways to success stories and community connections, this is your inside look at what makes Hamilton shine. Here's your host, Zach Harry.
Hello, Hamilton community. Welcome into the H2Know Podcast. This is a new thing we're going to start here at Hamilton Community Schools to take a deep dive into some programs and some happenings within our district and hopefully provide some information to parents and community members who want to take a look into some of the unique offerings and things going on within Hamilton Community Schools. Our very first guest on the podcast is Mr. Matt Rehkopf in his second year now with his new title, Director of Career College and Innovative Programming. First of all, how's the new role? And thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Zach. This has been a long time coming, I think, for Hamilton, because I think we have a lot of great things happening within our school system, and it's a lot of information, and it's hard to get it all out in emails and things like that. So I'm excited for this to happen for our school district, for sure.
And it will definitely, I'm sure it will evolve and take on new looks and things like that over time, but we're excited to have you on. We are going to be talking about early college and kind of what the model has looked like in Hamilton and how it has evolved over time. First of all, Matt, why don't you just fill people in on what early college is and what it's looked like in Hamilton over the past several years?
Absolutely. Well, Dan, I didn't answer your last question, but really it's, I think I have the best job in Hamilton Community Schools in the fact that I've been tasked with building really fun, exciting, meaningful programs for our students so that when they graduate, they have a plan and know what the heck they're going to do as their next steps when they leave us. I love my job. So I'll start with that. To pop into early college, just so you know, we've actually had an early college program here at Hamilton Community Schools with Muskegon Community College since about 2012. That was the first time that the Ottawa Area ISD did an early college program. So what an early college program is an actual program through the state of Michigan in which the state says is if a student signs up and commits to 3 years of being in a program, that they would continue to fund that student past their normal graduation date. So if a student is in an early college program, we do not graduate them after 12th grade. They stay a Hamilton Community School student for one more year. We call it the 13th year. We let them walk at graduation, all of that kind of stuff, but they actually don't get their diploma until after that 13th year when we finally say they're a graduate of Hamilton Community Schools. So what that allows them to do, it allows them to start to take some college classes in the junior year, more college classes in the senior year, and then in that 13th year, they take basically all of their classes. They're either at a community college or like what we're doing at Hope, at Hope College, and the state of Michigan is continuing to fund us for those students because they're in a specific program and everything is paid for by Hamilton Community Schools. Yeah.
And that's, I think that's the exciting piece about Hope College. And you've kind of touched on this with families is the Muskegon Community College route was great. It worked out well, but I think there was that aspect of face-to-face learning, right?
Yeah.
And that's a long drive from Hamilton.
For sure.
Now you have Hope College right in our backyard, and that partnership has really taken off in year one.
And I'm going to say when we had kids being successful with the Muskegon Community College model, it was because they were able to take classes in Holland at that old Davenport campus. Yeah. And so it was a much easier drive for kids to get there. Now for them to do this model, they still will have to do some classes up at Muskegon Community College, and that's a long drive, and that's not great for our kids. It's not great for schedules. It makes a lot of those classes be online.
So let's dive into the Hope College partnership.
Yeah, perfect.
How did this all get started? We did put out a video on our Facebook, YouTube channel, kind of diving into the Hope College program for those that don't know. John Yelding has been phenomenal at Hope College to work with, I know for you, but really dive into the partnership and just how it even started.
Yeah. So last year when I got into the new role, I reached out to all the colleges within, 30, 40 miles of Hamilton Community Schools to say, hey, I'm in a new role. I'd love to come and meet with you about just how Hamilton Community Schools can partner with you to better serve our students. Right. And so when I reached out to Hope, I met with their provost, and we started talking about some things that I was hoping to see to figure out how kids could get college credit in high school, right? Because we know at this point college is really expensive, and we need to find more creative ways for our kids to be able to access college at a more affordable rate. This is also at a time when the community college promise came out to where kids could get free community college, but because we don't have a community college in our area and we don't pay taxes on it and things like that, our kids don't have access to free community college. And so my mission was to figure out how can we start to help kids and families in accessing that. Another thing that I talked about with them is I really want kids to start to do this through a 4-year degree with an institution, because sometimes when you do these things with a community college, not all those credits transfer. Whereas if it is with a place like Hope College, those credits will transfer because it's a great accredited private university. And so as we were talking, all of a sudden he said, well, we have this thing with Holland Public where sometimes we have a kid or two where they'll come and take some dual enrollment classes with us. And it's not really a big thing, but let me put you in touch. Let's have a meeting with this John Yelding guy. And what's funny is I said, John Yelding, that was my high school principal when I was a freshman at South Haven. And I was like, yeah, let's meet him. And so, we set up a meeting, we started talking, and I think John and I had kind of that instant connection, but they started to see like Hamilton has a dedicated person to making this happen. Right. And so we went through the process. We started looking at what they were doing with Hope and how we could make something a little more meaningful with Hamilton. And that's where the bartering started coming into place. Cause I'm like, I don't want just 1 or 2 kids doing this. Right. I want as many kids as possible to get access to college credits. And because it was with John's a professor in the teaching department. And so we said, hey, let's try this out with teaching. John can be involved. He can help the kids. I'm there. Mr. Bosch is there. Our counselors will be there. Let's figure out how to do this. And Hope then allowed us to have up to 6 kids a year be in a cohort than going into the teaching program.
So when we talk about this program, we have 5 students that are high school juniors at Hamilton, also taking classes at Hope College this year. What stands out about this group of students as far as if I'm a freshman parent at Hamilton High School right now, how would I know if my son or daughter is a good fit for this program in 2 years?
Yeah. So last year, I talked with Mitch at the high school, and I said, hey, we got to find some kids that really want to go into teaching. Right. And I think in Hamilton, we tried to do a really good job of getting kids to understand all the different pathways and all the different careers out there, really starting in 5th grade in our middle school. And I think our middle school does a nice job of doing that and doing the EDP work and Naviance to find what careers are kids interested in, things like that. So by the time they start to get to high school, hopefully some of these kids are starting to say like, no, I think I'm really interested in teaching. And so Mr. Bosch got a group of kids who said, nope, I'm interested in teaching. And we started talking about what this program could look like and what it would look like. So then we invited parents to come in with their kids to say, hey, this is what we're thinking about. This would be a specific early college model in a time set of, if you're really serious about being a teacher, we can make this happen for you. But we need you to commit to a program. And I think we had 6 outstanding candidates that really wanted to do it. And through a pretty intensive interview process, screening process, we got information from their teachers about if they thought the students would be successful or not. In the end, 5 of them were like, yeah, let's do this. And so I think it's one of those things of, in particular right now with the teaching, if kids know they want to go into teaching, this is a fantastic opportunity for them. And I think what's key is they're still not Hope College students, right? Throughout the 13 years, right? Through year 13, they're still Hamilton High School students. At the end of that, they don't have to go to Hope College. I think right now they're all excited and want to go to Hope College. But they can take all those credits, and we can talk more about what that looks like later, but they can take all those credits and they could go to Grand Valley. They could go to Michigan. They could go to Western. They can go wherever they want, and all those credits will transfer for them.
And I think that's the interesting piece, too, is the win-win between the two, right? John Yelding in our video talked a lot about the why for Hope College to partner
Mhm.
with Hamilton,
Mhm.
and how this might not just be an education program next year, several years down the road. And I know you've been having conversations with Hope College, but let's touch on that 13th year, because I think that's what maybe is throwing some people off on what does this really look like? How does this make sense? You're in essence holding a student back as a high school student. So these students will still graduate with their class, correct, in 2 years.
They'll still walk with their class.
Yep.
Yep.
And then what does that 13th year really look like, though, as far as a schedule, and how is that going to look for them?
So by the state of Michigan, you have to have a math experience in your last year of high school. And so what we do is we withhold a math experience from these students to say they never formally graduate. And so then they would take like a Hope math class then in their 13th year, which then is their math experience, which then finally gets them their diploma. And the key is that they haven't officially graduated, right? They've walked at graduation. And the great thing about Hope is saying, come live on campus. We'll treat you as a freshman. Come live on campus in your 13th year. Even if you're still not a Hope College student, you can still access all the great things and have that first year college experience, but knowing that Hamilton's still paying for it. So even though we say they haven't graduated, they've walked. They've had the pomp and circumstance. They've had all that. It really is allowing us to continue to help them financially and really paying for 2 years of a Hope College degree in that sense.
And that's really what I wanted you to touch on next is the pros for these 5 students.
Yep.
I mean, financially, what do these families what are they responsible for?
Yes. So in order to be an early college program, you really have to do one of two things. You either have to earn an associate's degree at the end of it. And because we're going with a 4-year institution, they can't earn an associate's degree. So that's off the table. Or they have to gain 60 college credits by the end of the 13th year. And so we have it set up that kids take a couple classes each semester in their junior year. They take probably 3 classes each semester in their senior year. And in the 13th year, they're like a full-time college student that's going to get them. So essentially they'll get 30 credits, probably about 30 credits in that 13th year. We'll get them 30 credits in their senior year. We'll get them their 60 credits. So we're meeting all the laws and regulations within early college. And again, the state and Hamilton is able to pay for all those credits at a much reduced rate. We're not paying a Hope College rate for all of this. We're paying a reduced like high school dual enrollment rate, which makes it affordable to us. We pay for their books, etc. So if they were to live on campus, the parents would have to pick up housing. So they would have to pick up room and board and things like that. But that's a much smaller cost than if they were starting out with their freshman year. And once they get done with their 13th year, in this program, the way we have it set up, they will be done in 2 more years. And that includes student teaching. And so now you're a 21-year-old adult done with student teaching and ready to get out into the workforce and have only had to pay for 2 years of college.
This is a rigorous schedule for these 5 kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine being a high school junior going back and being on a college campus and then also balancing my high school classes and things. How much support is there for these 5 students from our outstanding 3 counselors at the high school? I know Mr. Yelding has really helped out. Hope College has been helping them. How much support is there for these 5?
I think the reason why I am drawn to doing this with Hope College is, and even in a meeting I had with them yesterday, the whole premise is you have to have good, caring adults that want to help these kids, right? Right now, this program is being so incredibly successful because, Mitch Bosch, our principal, is in full support of it. And he's working closely with John Yelding, who's checking in on the kids. He's making sure they have the right schedules. Like our counselors are all emailing with John Yelding. So as they're working as one big team to make sure that the schedules are aligning. I mean, they look at every kid individually to say it's better for this kid to do it in the morning, for this kid to do it in the afternoon. These kids are playing sports. Maybe we can do it this way. Our teachers have been flexible because a kid might be a little late to a class rushing back from Hope because they're doing a college schedule. They might have classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or they might have classes on Tuesday and Thursday. And so as I talked to some of these kids, it took them a couple weeks to get used to the workload, right? because it is a little different. These are juniors in high school taking freshman level college classes. But I think that's why we had that rigorous process to select them, to say, like, we looked at their grades, we looked at their attendance, we looked at how committed they were to really wanting to do this program. And everything that I'm hearing from Mr. Yelding is like, they're stepping up and talking to people in the community, talking to parents, talking, like, the kids are really enjoying themselves doing it. And they're still connected to Hamilton. They're still athletes in Hamilton.
Right.
Right. And I think that's what's critical is we're not just throwing them out there and saying, oh, we have kids that are going to do the Spanish exchange. And we said, it's important for us that you still are connected to Hamilton High School because you're still here.
Again, this is the H2Know Podcast. This is the first episode. We are with Mr. Matt Rehkopf, the Director of Career College and Innovative Programming here at Hamilton Community Schools. Today, we're talking a little bit about early college, especially the Hope College program, which is new in 25-26. If I'm a freshman parent, again, I kind of asked you that earlier, but what am I telling my son or daughter if I think they're a good fit? What are the things that they really need to look at? Do they need to tell their counselor right now? Do they need to start showing interest? Or is this something we can wait a couple of years on?
Yeah, so I'll put in a little plug right now. When we get to winter parent-teacher conferences coming up, I talked to Mr. Bosch about this, is I really want to run a session at the winter parent-teacher conferences in the auditorium about, hey, I want my kid to get college credit in high school. How do I do it? Right? Because early college is one way. We have traditional dual enrollment. If you take some of our high school regular classes right now, CTE classes, you get college credit. If we take AP classes and you do well enough, you get college credit. There are so many opportunities that I don't think our parents and students know about, especially in those early ages, of that there's a lot of ways for you to get some college credit in high school. And we want to run a night where we say, come on in, let's explain all the ways. Let's answer all your questions. If your kid is college going, we want you and them to be informed and attack college credit in high school. Because like I said before, it's crazy expensive. Mm-hmm. So right now, I think it's one of those things of, have the conversations with your kids, but you can have a more traditional freshman and sophomore year. Like be passing your classes, getting good grades, have good attendance. There's nothing really special you need to do in that freshman year, and then really be checking your emails, because Mr. Bosch is going to be putting out an email soon to say, hey, who wants to be in cohort 2 of our Hope Early College model specifically for teaching? I can't promise that we'll expand anything else for next year. I had a meeting yesterday. I'm hopeful we will, but that's going to be one of those things like this. I mean, we were interviewing these kids in April and May last year. Like it took a long time to get all the MOUs written and all the legalese to make sure that both institutions were in a good spot. But we have time, and I'm really hopeful that Hope and Hamilton can grow some more programs.
Is there a cap on how many students can enroll in this program? I mean, next year, if we have 12 kids interested,
they will only allow 6 a year.
Okay.
Right. And it's one of those things where they also have to run their classes. And already I know there's been a couple situations where, a class was getting pretty full, and Mr. Yelding had to go, and this is where the relationship's important.
Yes.
Right? Mr. Yelding had to go to one of the professors to say, hey, I got this kid. It's only fitting at this time. He's in this program. I need you to let him in. And they're like, yeah, come on in. And so it's one of those things where we just can't all of a sudden have 12, 13 kids that want to go into this teaching program. Like we have to live by, they're allowing us 6.
Right.
Right. And so that's where in my meeting yesterday, I was in a meeting yesterday with the provost, the deans, Mr. Yelding. He was great, talking about all the good work we've done, and just to start to explain our model and to say, hey, we'd love to expand this. Because it's funny is the last couple of years, we've only had 2 or 3 students go to Hope College. Right. I think all 5 of these kids probably will end up going to Hope, which will automatically already double our enrollment at Hope College. And they all kind of were like, well, yeah, this could be, we can prove ourselves to them that you're going to get a good quality education. And they're like, we should be having more Hamilton kids come to Hope. And so I think they have a lot of questions in the other departments and the other colleges there, but I think we'll get some done. They wanted to say, well, how many kids are interested in the different pathways? So we're pulling some data together because we have that data, because I think we do an extensive process to figure out kids' interests and careers that they want to go to where we can go to them and say, you know what, I got this many kids that want to be engineers. I have this many kids that want to be psychologists. I have this many kids that want to be social workers. We have this many kids that would just want to get an English degree.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think once we go through that process, they have some things that they're on their end that they're looking to bring to the table. And I think what's great, and I'm going to go back to this, and I give a lot of credit to Dr. Lusk and our board for envisioning this position that I'm currently in, is I'm able to go and kind of be that little pest to say, hey, where are we with this?
Yeah.
You know, when Mr. Yelding says no one has ever gotten one of these things done in 2 months' time at the college level, at the collegiate level, because they move at a snail's pace, it's because I was emailing every week, right? And so I think this is something that we really want for our kids, and we got to find a way to get it done.
They've got to love you, you know? They've got to love you. Yeah, pestering them. That's great.
Pestering them all the time.
That's great.
Yeah.
No, but I did think that Mr. Yelding's words in our video were phenomenal. Just saying what stands out to me most about Hamilton Community Schools is that they have a position like this. He goes, I've never really heard of that, but it's truly groundbreaking things, you know, going on in your role and in our district. And really quickly on the H2Know podcast, we do want to thank some community sponsors that make this possible. This is part of our community engagement and the Hawkeye Hometown Series. So we had a lot of platinum sponsors this year. We want to thank today our sponsors, Alice Excavating, Barbara Ford in Holland, and Big Curve Discount. Big special thank you to those three companies as we get set to wrap up here on our first episode of the H2Know podcast. Matt, you said something very interesting there, identifying kids' interests early. That's been a big focal point for this district for several years now, not just in this new role, but that's been ongoing even when you were director of teaching and learning. How does this fit? How does Hope College fit? We talk a lot about work-based learning. We talk a lot about co-op and offering all these expansive programs. How does this fit in the district's vision?
I thought it was interesting when I was an administrator back in the high school forever ago. We had a person in our district, her name was Danya Bazzi, and she was the director of teaching and learning, right? Traditionally, those of us who are teachers, administrators in the high school, it's the only career we've ever known. Like, we went to high school, we went to elementary school, we went to college, and then we were right back in high school. Like, we don't know really some more of the traditional jobs and careers out there. And she said, you know, in the outside world, outside of education, a lot of times, she goes, people's career path looks like a Christmas tree, to where they try like wide, very differing things through their careers until it gets smaller and more nichey. And then a few years down the road, they find what they really want to do, right?
Yeah.
You were in broadcasting. You spent some time doing some marketing and things like that. And now hopefully you found your niche here in education.
Behind the camera, typically. But yes, this is something new that Dr. Lusk has been pushing me to do. So
here I am. I've literally been at Hamilton High School my entire working career. And my hope is that in Hamilton, because of all the things we do with kids, all the opportunities we give with kids, like that they see so many things that even if when they graduate, they start somewhere and they're like, this wasn't it, that they have it in their back of their mind, like, you know, I saw this other thing, I got exposed to this other thing, and that's where I really want to go, and that they know how to get there and they can find their path to get there. We might have some kids in the 13th year say, gosh, I still really like math, but I don't know if I want to be a math teacher. Well, they've had a lot of college credits available to them in the field of math that if they now want to be an engineer, they're not hurt. They're still in a really good spot to take those college credits with them elsewhere. If they don't want to go to Hope or they want to stay at Hope, and they can change majors and they continue to go, and they're still better off because they've been in some of these programs.
So as we get set to wrap up here, biggest thing parents need to know. I mean, freshman year, sophomore year, even back 7th, 8th grade, what do you want parents to know, even if it's not this program? If their kid is showing interest in being an engineer, do they go right to their counselor? Do they bring it up right away? Do they wait? What would you say?
I think there's a lot of information that comes at parents, right? I think sometimes we're drinking from a fire hose, but there's a lot of information. And I would say there's a lot of good information like on the counseling webpage at our high school site. I think it's important to know the curriculum guide that Mr. Bosch and the counselors put out there to know, hey, here are the classes that I need. And if you ever have questions, like reach out to me. Yeah. Reach out to Mr. Bosch, reach out to the counselors. Like we'd love to answer all of your questions and like if something perks your interest, like let's have a conversation, right? I think that's the biggest thing that we like. Come to the parent nights, come to like at parent teacher conferences, Mr. Bosch and the counselors are there. Yeah. Like that's a great time to ask. Mr. Bosch and I have been talking, and I think I want to run an event at every high school parent teacher conference from here till eternity for me at Hamilton Community Schools. So just to say, if you want to know, here's some times to come in and let's just talk about it. Because we have a skilled trades one coming up here shortly. So next week.
There's a lot going on. I don't know how you keep everything straight. There's a lot going on, and I think
but it's fun.
It is fun,
right? Because it's one of those things where like it's how can we build the very best opportunities for our kids.
That's right. Yeah, and that's why you're in your role. Yep. And I think and I hope parents get a lot out of today's episode. I think we really dove into some weeds and in some specifics about this program. Matt Rehkopf, thank you for being on the H2Know podcast.
Awesome. Thanks.
H2Know podcast again. Hamilton Community Schools. We are diving into the weeds, hopefully for parents and community members to get to know some of the backstory and really dive into what their student needs to know as they approach their junior year of high school in this instance in the different programs around our district. This has been the first episode. Matt Rehkopf, thanks again, and thanks for watching.
Go Hawks.